So I'm live on Instagram. I'm sorry to say, I'm live on YouTube. So this is about YouTube. So you're just for those that are just lazy, because some of y'all are lazy and don't go to YouTube, and I get it. So that's why it's up here. All right. So if I go here, so I'm gonna turn that TV down. All right. Pop out chat, yeah. So, yep, there we
Perfect.
go.
Yay.
Although I don't think I'm going to be able to keep it popped out when I'm running charts the whole time, but at least
Okay.
I can do that.
And I can sort of see it in here.
Yeah, so what's going on, everyone? Of course, welcome to Mars in Gemini. We're out of that. Mars in Taurus. It's March the 3rd of 2021. We're actually here. This is actually the music studio that we're also doing a cool podcast room at. We're actually doing 2 or actually 3 other podcast stages. But for now, as we're going to be starting the High Vibe podcast, we're just having a fun little studio within the studio while we're building new sets, because actually we're building a ton more sets right now. As Mars and Taurus always is, right? It was like, it takes a while, but you know what you need in your life. Now that we're in Gemini, of course we ask questions here, but things move a lot quicker. And especially with all this Aquarian energy, I mean, Mars is going to be making some good aspects here. It's going to have good aspects with Jupiter. It's going to have good aspects with Saturn. So, I would say that this Mars in Gemini with Rahu, especially if the North Node, is going to be awesome. But at the same token, we're going to have a lot of this Piscean energy that's kind of in battle with this Mars. So with Neptune especially, and the new moon coming on Neptune and the square to the nodes, I would say you're going to have to really focus on your own spiritual environment. I feel that when it comes to the spiritual community right now, it really kind of doesn't feel so much like a community as much as it is more just people who are just kind of understanding of one another. I think anybody I feel like in the spiritual community, it's becoming like a bunch of reruns. Like, it's like watching Nick at Night. And, one, there's a lot of truthers out there afraid to speak truth. 2, there's some people who are just repeating the narrative like a parrot from the media. And then 3, if you do go out and you're not any of those and you say anything, then it's too new of a hit and nobody wants to hear it and they would rather hear the reruns. I think it's funny, I have nothing against Clubhouse, that new app, but I just think it's really funny. It just seems to me like everybody now is some spiritual this or that. And it's like, it's so funny the way there's the whole invite to get in there. And then you just go in there, it's a bunch of people talking and acting like, can't see them, which I don't like. I'd rather see somebody to see if they're authentic and real. The guy or the woman or the non-binary could be sitting on a toilet and just be sitting there and just be like talking a bunch of game and or reading cliff notes and reading somebody else's work, or I don't know. There's just something about it that just is so funny to me, how people act like all esteemed when I am so scorpionic with my Mars and Saturn. I'm like, I know. I'm like, this person doesn't sound like they're really in a deep space. So I think that I think the rhetoric and the communication is going to be extreme. I was born with Mars in the 3rd house in Scorpio. So I get the whole Mars Gemini thing because I technically have that kind of vibe. Mars in the 3rd would be like a Mars in Gemini. And so, some people don't like what I say because I will keep pushing you with questions. I will keep pushing you with things that I think that are important for you to hear. And people are going to be doing that. But then there's that subconscious with the Neptune square. I don't have squares to Neptune with my Mars. So I technically have a minor semi-square, but I don't have some fucking big ass square, And that's the hard thing, especially when Neptune's in Pisces, is that's what we're approaching. We're also, with this Mars transit, going to be with Rahu. And so we didn't get this last year We had Mars with the South Node when it was in Capricorn during the eclipse season and Saturn and Pluto meeting. And so that's the year cycle, right? So it takes a year for Mars to come halfway through the zodiac. So it was Mars in Capricorn as we came into 2020. And then boom, now we're here in 2021 and Mars is finally here at the top with Rahu and the North Node. So this is epic because this is a winner's alignment. The last time, we had Mars South Node, look at the way the world went. Look at your life. Like it just, things don't go the way that we want to, that we really wanted them to go. Now, this is going to be, of course, in your own personal space. So if you're going to continue during this period, and I'm talking over a more generalized month plus here of Mars and Gemini, this is going to take a minute to happen, but it's going to be a lot of stuff happening really quick. And it's the only things about what you want in your environment. Like this studio where I'm in, right, this is Gemini stuff, right? Like I can touch it, I can hear it, I'm curious. I don't have to even move far away, right? Like if I were to go way out in the studio and go to the other TV sets or go out to where I keep my cars and then go out the garage and try and understand that's Sag. That's like, I need to go all the way out there and I need to go see. It's the trip that goes a long time. This is where people are going to have to take their wants and their needs and their Mars energy of their masculine. And now that it's coming into a masculine sign, Gemini, it's much more masculine energy. And with Rahu, with Mars here, this is where, Rahu likes to be with Mars. And Mars likes to be with Rahu because it's like, let's get it and let's make it happen. So it kind of forces us into our destiny, which I think is a good thing. But if you're looking at, well, all I want are things that are Sagittarian. I just am hopeful for this to happen. I just want this belief to happen. I want the world to be this one way. Nope. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I think that a lot of this is going to take some... It also is about courage. And I think that that's a big part right now, is the courage to speak, the courage to be willing to have conversations. One thing I'm noticing in the media today and so forth, and even social media, and maybe this is where I give Clubhouse the benefit of the doubt instead of just trashing it, is people are having very important conversations on there. So, I don't want to say I'm here just talking shit on Clubhouse. I was just laughing at kind of the reruns that are happening on there. But there are some important conversations going down, but still a lot of other people are afraid, and there's rooms full of people, and you don't know who those people are and who's watching them. And in the media, they're just throwing out a lot of, intense aspects of, domestic terrorism and stuff like that. So, and that's if you go to any narrative right now that has to do with astrology or has to do with spirituality. I mean, to be honest with you, they're calling it a religious extremism. Or it's all connected to, that letter in the alphabet, which none of us even were part of. So, but guess what? It's perfect psyop stuff. And that Mars here, it can be very intense on the nervous system. And since we are dealing with new frequencies for these kind of new phones, we're dealing with a ton of, people antsy. The nervous system gets really extreme. And especially Mars deals with inflammation, right? So in Taurus, it's the throat. But in Gemini, it's the lungs, it's your arms, it's your hands, it's your dualistic aspects of things. So, this is going to be, and it does real more of the nervous system and the brain, right? Swelling of the brain traumas. I feel though that this is going to be where people, if you're not willing to speak, I think a lot of this is where the downfall is for people, is when they are not courageous enough to speak, because this is where Rahu's asking with Mars. And Mars is very, if you take especially the Dasha system and the Vedic system, the end of the 18 years of Rahu Dasha is Rahu Mars. Ironically, that's what I'm in. So I'm at the end of my 18-year Rahu cycle, and I'm in Rahu Mars. And I was born with very Mars and Saturn conjunct. I was born with very intense Mars aspects in my chart. Actually, my soul planet in Vedic astrology is Mars. So I get it. And I know a lot of people out there, and I want to put this out there before I kind of go into this horoscope stuff. They don't get, they think I've changed. Well, guess what? Everybody changes. But what they're seeing more of, oh no, I don't like how iPhones, whenever you're live on Instagram, they'll just like your screen, they'll just like turn it off and then have you have to come back. So stupid. So there's been, I think what's changed is the world and people realizing, oh, this fool's been a masculine energy for a long time. And a lot of people miss my more feminine energy side. Well, I'm in a masculine, number one, my chart's massively masculine, and my whole life has been. But when I got through my awakening, I definitely opened up more to the feminine side, and it was what I was being called to at the time to present. And under these circumstances in this world, as there's not a lot of masculine around, and I ironically am going through transits dealing with more of my intense aspects, that's what you're seeing. So I think that people can label, or they can judge, or they can put out their own perspective that associates it with like, oh, the person's crazy, or they're lost, or they're da-da-da-da. I think that a lot of people are just triggered by me being willing to continue to put out truth and not waver from it. And I've had to release a lot over this last 2 months about my worries and my concerns about what people think about me. Typical Leo in the middle of an Aquarian world. And as I was driving today to go pick up more Jewel, which I don't even know where that thing is. I already lost my Jewel.
You just had it.
What?
You just had it.
I just had it. I mean, you know, like I really am like.
Did anyone see where it went in the
Oh,
chat?
it
Oh,
went on the seat. That I realized I was like, all the astrology is against my chart. Saturn is squaring my Saturn. Jupiter squaring my Mars. I'm in my nodal return, and I was born with North Node Chiron in Gemini. My whole life here is about, literally, I'm about to experience the public display of being Chiron and Gemini, the one that's going to be the weirdo with the voice that nobody wants to hear and laugh at. That's my destiny. And of course, it would come with all the energies squaring all my Scorpio, squaring all my Taurus, and opposing all my main parts of my chart, which is Leo. That nobody, there are people that are supporting me, and I don't want to denounce those people or take those people away, but there's going to just be tons over this next like 6 months that are just going to be attacking me crazy. And there'll probably be a public display used as me in a negative way. I'm prepared for it, and that's all I can do is, you know, learn to deal with it. And anybody out there that wants to continue to attack me, you know what? I'm giving you all the doors open. Attack all you want, because you're just going to let my destiny come more into fruition. The more that you attack me, the more that you make fun of me, the more that you think that I'm crazy, the more that you want to not hear what I have to say, but you still listen. You're activating my destiny more. It'd be easy for me to just bury myself and just be lazy and not speak my truth and follow my South Node in Sag and just go fluff everybody with a bunch of fluff and hope and optimism without looking at the factual aspects of things. You know, I would not be following my destiny. And so I just wanted to make that clear on this video, because some people have left. Some people are saying, "Oh my God, the Leo Kings lost so many people." I mean, yeah, sure, I've lost like 3,000 or 4,000 people, but I've been blessed to have hundreds of thousands over the years that have found me. So, you know, I'd rather live my destiny and follow my nodes and follow my nodal return that's coming up here this year than succumb to trying to do a South Node Uranus. Like, I'm not here to please the collective. I'm here to channel the collective and help give it my truth to the collective of Gemini, intense, Chiron, weird way of doing it. And the collective can either take it or not. But I'm not here to emotionally please the collective. Not. It's not my, that's my past life fucking issue. South Node Uranus. And in Sag. Like, I'm not here to make you hear what you want to hear and make you feel better about it. That's not good medicine. That's the medicine that you're seeing all over the place, though. And I'm in my big test. We all are, though, now. As I'm going to be now pulling the charts up for deep astrology, but, you know, these times are very weird still. I mean, the facts are, though, that it does feel like the energy is better than, of course, it was last year. It's still got its own unique, weird tint of last year to it. I actually, and this might sound crazy, I don't believe that we even changed years. I don't believe in the year system anyway. And astrologically speaking, I don't feel like 2020 is over. I feel like it's kind of infinite at this point. That's all another story, but...
Someone in the chat, before it disappeared from your phone and froze up there, someone had mentioned that Neptune is squaring Neptune for all of the people born in the 80s, or whoever has Neptune in...
Yeah, mainly early 80s, because Neptune's at 20 degrees. So with Neptune, you gotta... I would only give it a 2 to 3 degree orb. Like all the people from like, and especially where you gotta look at the South Node in Sag for that one. So it's like South Node is in Sag with all the Neptune people that were from 84, parts of 84, and then you got to go back to basically like the beginning of the 70s. So, you know, that like all those Neptunes are being South Noded. So sensitivity central for the generation X/Y, which they have totally almost erased generation Y and thrown them in with millennials, which are not, because a lot of them have Pluto Libra.
And Generation X, nobody even talks about anymore.
And nobody talks about Generation X anymore.
Yeah. Too many baby boomers and young.
It's just about baby boomers and millennials. The whole like CV thing has been about, you know, elderly and what's happening with the children and millennials, but nothing about the people in between, which I think is actually the best thing that we all could have had. If you're born in the 80s or you're born in the 70s, like especially early 80s, not late. If you're born in the late 80s, I'm sorry, you have Saturn in Capricorn or Saturn in Sag with Uranus conjunct and stuff like that. Like you got battles with rebellion and structure. Oh man, my Instagram just keeps doing this. It's like it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I don't understand why Instagram doesn't build an app that just, if you're live, don't turn off the screen on the phone like YouTube. It's just the stupidest thing in the world. I think though that it's a blessing in disguise. I think that if you take the shot in the arm, the last people to get it are they going to be the people in their 30s and their 40s, because all the kids that are in school and college have to get it, and then the elderly. And then those over like 50 with Chiron and Aries, typical Chiron Aries situation. And then all the people, you know, sitting in their 30s and beginning of their 40s, they're just kind of like the ones that are not being talked about. So it's like we're blending in to the background. And if you notice the most truthers and so forth, they happen to be those people. Because we are sensitive to belief system programming subconsciously. We were the generation that got the most predictive programming by belief systems with Neptune and Sag. So South Node here is clearing all that out. And we are seeing the truth. We have erased the matrix and we see through it. And we're trying to help all these poor Neptune and Virgo people that don't see it, with Neptune opposing their Neptunes. So if you have Neptune and Virgo, you're going to need to wake up. And then the Neptune and Capricorns are all young people who are acting like their grandparents. Knitting sweaters and shit and having tea and going to bed fucking at 8 p.m. I don't get it. I really don't get it. When I was in my 20s, I was fucking up all night. Fucking having a great time. I fucking partied. I fucking lived my life. Neptune and Sag. I hate to say it, Neptune and Capricorns. You guys are fucking not that fun. You know what I mean? Like, you guys get all fucking up in a tizzy about schedules and all this shit and, you know, trying to make it seem like you got all your shit together, which is your own delusion.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of their comfort, that's their candy, our schedules.
Because they're sensitive. If they feel like the unknown to them. Neptune hates Capricorn. It's an earth sign. It's a Saturn ruled place, and Neptune's sensitive. And so Neptune's got to realize that, you know, goals and so forth take everything that you got, but Neptune's too sensitive to do that. Neptune doesn't mind Sag as much, just because, you know, Jupiter and Neptune share the same home. So Pisces. So there's an endless wonder to the world, a curiosity of wonder, going beyond the reality in many ways. Whereas Capricorn Neptune's and then of course look at Venus or Virgo Neptunes. No, they're too reality based and trying to find the illusions of the earth. Like, you'll see them, they can only find their spirituality on nature or a hike. And I have nothing against that. I'm just saying that that's just the way it is, right? It's like they need to be with like earth but that's what's funny is the original term nature has nothing to do with nature that we've been programmed to think of trees. Nature is human nature. And so the term nature has actually been a way to pull you away from your human nature, that you feel that you only can find your human nature when you're in nature that they have defined it as, which is just psychotic. Because the truth is that nature is also the stars too. The idea that it's separate from us has been the reason why that was programmed. So we can go into programming all the time, but that might be for another day. Funny enough. But yeah, so I mean, Mars is in Gemini now, and
let me show this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be airdropping all this and I do have my Instagram people on here, although I'm turned sideways so I can't read all your comments, unfortunately.
Well, there we go.
I'm just going through the days. If anybody has any questions, though, we're going to read the YouTube ones because I can't read the Instagram ones, unfortunately, unless you want to go over to YouTube and watch.
Well, and I can't see the comments now because let me see if I get them back up. It makes it out of focus. Let me try to.
I think what's interesting about this week too is Mercury and Jupiter meet up for the last time. Remember, Mercury retrograded at 26 degrees of Aquarius, came back all the way to 11 degrees of Aquarius. So it passed over Jupiter twice, once direct, once retrograde. Now this is the last pass, and Mercury's been trying to catch up to Jupiter. So we've all been looking for this hope, but South Node is the dispositor of Jupiter in Sag, and Jupiter's in Aquarius. So there's this whole the illusion of I'm trying to figure things out when you've already got everything figured out. You just need to act on it. Like, is what Mars and Gemini is saying. Like, you already fucking have the info, dummy. Like, you don't need some fucking scientist. You don't need some fucking crazy like alien to tell you what the fuck to do. You're the alien. Didn't you remember? You're the human that doesn't even know why you're here and how the fuck you're here. Like, come on. So, I think that's kind of the paradoxical craziness that's going to come in this period is that people are going to realize I should just be doing what I really want to do, that I am stimulated and I'm curious about, and that I already have figured out, and I'm already just wanting to go like a dog that's curious about a trash can because it smells like there's food in there. Okay, I'm going to go over there. Like that's Mars and Gemini. And this whole idea of Mercury that's been waiting for Jupiter has been everybody waiting for some big kind of wheel of fortune moment in their life that's going to complete everything for them, probably through a person or through connection or something, when really it's like you could have been doing that the whole time. What were you doing? Like, you know, that's what Mars and Gemini is. And Mars and Gemini I love. You know why? Because it's a brute ass, hardcore fucking communicator. Like, it will just tell you straight up, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I have Mars in the third. I'd say it all the time. Like, you're a fucking idiot. You're so stupid. Why didn't you do that? And that's how I do my astrology. So it's triggering people now so much now. Too many people are triggered. This is like trigger city. So I guess I'm supposed to do that. This is my job. But, you know, I love Mars and Gemini because, you know what? Those that are laugh and comedic and are able to, you know, not let authorities of the world dictate their lives, like, and what they should think and how they should say and what they should say, are going to thrive. And then there's those that are going to be taking advantage of that in the power structures, especially with Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius over the collective, with the illusion that they know the best thing. With the dispositor of Jupiter right now, sorry to say, it's the South Node in Sag. Kind of sucks for people. Kind of sucks. Oh, we also are going to have a pretty gnarly 3/4 square of the moon. And
There we go.
oh no! Oh.
It's there. Oh, if I flip it that way, I can see the comments. All right.
I forgot where I was at.
You were looking at the chart, but I can't remember what.
Oh, I was talking about the sun square the moon on the nodes. Clown town craziness is coming. Hate to say it. And especially now that Mars and Rahu are together in Gemini and the sun and the moon are in with the nodes and the sun squaring the nodes this week. This is everybody's big crossroads destiny point. Some people call this the part of death. When you look at the sun, if it's exactly, you look at the midpoint between the nodes. So the midpoint between the nodes, if they're both at 15 mutable, are going to be 15 mutable. Especially that Pisces zone right there. So, you know, this is a death coming in your own life when it comes to your delusions, or you're killing yourself through your own illusion, and you're going to continue killing yourself through your own illusions. And especially with that south node in the moon, it's going to be like ultra heavy chocolate that people are like, oh, I just want to believe in this easy bullshit. And I think that we're also with Neptune in the media squaring this, and with the new moon that's approaching towards Neptune, we're going to see the media just completely be putting out the biggest lies we've ever seen in our life over the next couple of weeks. And I really believe that. Factually, though, from astrology. I was just watching the news. People in Germany right now are not wanting to take one of the shots in the arm with the Astro. And then the media is just pushing. If you just notice the media, it's just pushing everything that they want and just not paying attention to things that are extreme. Like what's going on with Syria and the bombings. It's like the 8th story in the world right now. They just like don't cover it much. It's like no big deal. Like whatever. We're bombing Syria. Don't pay attention.
Someone just mentioned that we've had solar flares in the last week, a couple. And I mean, do you think that impacts this also?
Yes, although you have to start to realize that, especially if you start researching, every 7 to 10 days, the Earth gets affected by the sun's blast of radiation. And now that science is now out. So the whole idea of like, ooh, it's a solar flare, it depends on how big the solar flare is, of course. But with the cycle right now that we're going through in the galaxy, in the 12,000 year cycle of a galactic, meaning the galaxy magnetic shift, which the sun then takes on that energy, and then the planets are magnetically all doing it too, and the sun takes on that, but the sun creates too much static electricity basically in magnetics and creates its own nova. It's like a minor nova. And so like there's basically this preparation, especially as we're seeing the Earth's rotation. Talked about this before. You can go watch couple cool channels out there. I especially like Suspicious Observers of Ben Davison. But basically, that should be the number one story of the news right now. The Earth is glitching. The days are getting faster. The Earth, for the first time on record, is spinning faster than normal. The magnetics are terrible on the Earth right now, 25% lower for the Earth's magnetic shield, and increasing every day at dramatic rates. So I think that, one thing to kind of help the spiritual community out, sure, you can call it the frequencies from phones. You can get into all that. But what we're seeing is the biggest deception ever being told to the public right now. There's a great movie called Greenland that's out. It's about a comet from another solar system that destroys the Earth. Right? If you watched, what was that movie back in 98, I think it was, about the asteroid that was going to kill the Earth, Armageddon, with Bruce Willis and...
Liv Tyler, wasn't she? Or I don't remember.
Yeah.
Was that her?
I think it was her, and I think it was... I think it was good old Leo fucking Ben, what was his name?
Ben Affleck? I
Ben
was thinking
Affleck.
of Matt Damon for some reason, so it must be Ben Affleck.
No, Ben Affleck, yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yep,
he
that's
hasn't
what
been doing
someone
too
said.
hot, He was at Malibu, Jack in the Box, going to rehab a couple years ago.
Hmm.
Wasn't having some good days there. But that's the biggest deception is right now we are going through the greatest secret that's being held from humanity, which is what's happening with the sun, the galaxy, and the Earth magnetically.
Hmm.
And how that is affecting human bodies magnetically. We're electromagnetic. You have static electricity. You are part of that. You go into a room with carpet, you rub your feet up against the carpet enough, and you touch something, and you're going to feel static electricity. Well, imagine if the sun has been receiving a bunch of that static electricity, and eventually it's going to have to make its little bzzzt in our solar system. That's a minor nova. So people need to start thinking about that stuff actually happens. There's also been a nova that's happened really close to us from a sun. And some of the data that's been coming through is like things closer than we realize, and they're distracting you with Mars. They're distracting you with Mars. Looking around at rocks, and we obviously see there's water that's been there, and that's about it. Okay, wonderful, thanks. Can we see like the real things that are going on, which they're having you again first focused on 3D bullshit. Not the magnetic, not the 4D, 5D, higher dimensional shit that's really going on.
Hmm.
There's also been a lot of papers that have described viruses and so forth that don't even come from the Earth or animals, as they say, right? Because that connects us to humans because of the transmission and so forth, to be that we need this in order to save the day and stuff, that actually it looks like it comes from space.
Hmm.
And with the Earth magnetics field down, everything that's coming in to Earth, I mean, it's a free-for-all. I have videos, and I have the receipts. Go look up the Leo King Solar Flares 2013. I have videos talking about this stuff for going on 8 years now. And I have presentations talking about it. And it's been part of my astrology for a long time. And every time throughout the Pluto-Uranus square of 2012 through 2015, I was looking at the major days of those squares or the eclipses with those squares, and then we were seeing C class and X class flares, solar flares. And I was like, holy cow. So with this crazy astrology that's been going on, the pressure that happened just released to us the galactic understanding of it. Well, how big is the galactic nova going to be? How big is our sun's nova going to be? How big is all this pressure in the frequency range of the universe going to affect us? That's why you think Jeff Bezos is quit Amazon and he's going to go live underground. And he's building the biggest underground bunker in the world in Texas and the biggest, weirdest atomic clock underground, when the atomic clock is having to change based off the Earth's rotation right now. Why is that not front page news? But everybody's going to be caught off guard. And why do you think they built Space Force?
Someone's asking about, they said USA Today wrote an article about a space hurricane over the North Pole for 8 hours. Do you have any thoughts on that?
The space hurricane over the North Pole. I'd have to look up the article. Like, what are they referring the hurricane as? Like an actual hurricane? Like a physical, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Weather-based hurricane? Or are they just talking about, solar radiation that comes down and collects on the North Pole and creates the Northern Lights that's really big? And because the North Pole is shifting, when they say the North Pole, are they really talking about the North Pole? Because the North Pole's like headed already towards Russia. It's no longer in the north. It's not up there in the middle like we think.
It's interesting too. A lot of people talking about, people are never telling the truth to us. Or somebody asked, when will the lies be revealed? Do you see anything in astrology about that?
With Neptune and Pisces up until 2025. No. And with Pluto and Capricorn until 2024, nope. Right when, sorry, everybody on Instagram. Nope, not with Pluto and Capricorn. Nope, they're gonna hold it. Just like I said in in 2017 when I predicted the financial markets crashing horribly in 2020 and them doing this big repair. They're gonna repair this thing and they're gonna hold it as long as they can until 2023, 2024 when this thing will fall. So, like, when it comes to the truth, that's what North Node is trying to tell you now. You've already been through half of the transit of North Node in Gemini. If you haven't figured out that you have to understand the truth in your own sphere, in your own environment, through finding the communication stations that deliver the truth on your own, and if you're still waiting for the South Node in Sag for this, the South Node in Sag is like the bigger energy, right? So it's like the mainstream and it's squaring Neptune, which is the media, and its own sign of Pisces, which is the media. Like, you're never going to see the mainstream media ever come out with some big, great event that's going to be like, yeah, this is the truth. This is really what happened. It's never going to happen, folks. Never going to happen in our life. It won't happen. Sorry to tell you.
Elizabeth just posted a link to the solar flares video. So.
Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. So that's just like, and that's why, I get a lot of hate just because I say stuff like that, and people are just like, you're so fatalistic. I'm like, well, then why do you follow astrology?
Right.
I mean, if you really believe that astrology is free will based, well, like, try and tell every planet that, because they'd be pretty upset. I'm actually looking after the sensitivities and racial injustices to the planet because they don't have free will. They have to go, like, you can't tell Jupiter to jump over to Leo right now. It's in Aquarius. It has to wait 6 more years till it's in Leo. So if you're trying to tell me, or even from Earth based, geo based, If you're trying to tell me that right now, at what time is it for me? It's 8:30 p.m. If you're trying to tell me to have the sunrise right now, not gonna happen. I can create it with my own. I can create it with LED light. I can create it with a television. I can create it in my mind. I can create it, and that's the free will. That's about as much free will as you got. But the sun's still gonna come up at 6:55 a.m. as we are entering to the end of Pisces here. Until we get to that 7 a.m., 7:10 a.m., and we start to come to equal day, equal night stuff. So, I mean, that's a Gemini fact that I think is a hard pill for some people to swallow. That's the true red pill, is realizing that you're in a predetermined reality, and people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They want to believe with South Node and Sag that some guru that they learned something from gave them the ability to break through the system to create anything they want whenever they want. Well, if you can tell me how to learn not to have to take a shit every day, or to not have to go pee whenever I want to not go pee, then please, or be able to, I don't know, not grow gray hairs on my beard as I'm turning fucking 37 this year, please fill me in on the secret. I can free will myself and throw some fucking, what's that shit called for men? Fucking that company?
Hair Club from, or no, I don't
No,
know.
the
What
old
is
school one, like, you know. It's
I
just
can't
like,
remember the dye one.
No, it's called,
Or is it the spray thing? Somebody will know.
oh, it's so funny. They even have like salt and pepper version. I
Rogaine.
don't-
Oh no, Rogaine. Are you
No,
talking about
I'm
the
talking
spray
about
one?
just the
or
dye, like this, like for guys and hair, like was commercials forever in the 90s
Yeah.
and the 2000s. Just for men.
Okay, Grecian
That's what it's called,
formula
just
is
for
one
men.
thing. Okay,
Like
just for men.
literally, just like, and if you want to free, if that's your free will. You have the free will to use just for men to get rid of the gray. You have free will to go get plastic surgery to make you not look so old. I mean, that's basic shit. Like, sorry to rain on some people's parades.
Well, some people are saying silver fox is sexy, so it's
Right.
hot.
So that's people who accept the reality of predetermination.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone else had asked, what about when Jupiter goes, I guess, in the Pisces and comes back to Aquarius? Is that, I haven't even looked at the degree of Jupiter. Is that soon?
That's going to be the biggest lies that we've ever seen in the media again, and we already are about to see it in the next couple of weeks. We're going to see the biggest lie ever told when Jupiter enters Pisces, because Jupiter will be with Neptune. It will enhance Neptune. Neptune's the ruler there, and South Node is still in Sag. So the dispositor is Jupiter still, and Jupiter's now in its home. It's in its home sign of Pisces, with the home sign of Neptune being there. And unfortunately, we're going to see the biggest lies of beliefs ever told, and deception at the greatest, stuff, unless you are still willing to understand how to see through all that and work your way through the greatest maze of disinformation while they're trying to. Instagram obviously doesn't want me to get the truth out. The deception is going to be so great that people are going to have to, it's so funny right now. They're already setting up for it. The media is setting up for it. Everything about conspiracy theories right now. Vice just did a whole thing on a second video on how conspiracy theories are ruining the world and contributing to violence and contributing to the health of all people. Like, the idea that you can't question things as an individual anymore is scary. And it is something that you all should, it doesn't matter about politics of what side you're on. This is the astrology. This is the greatest deception that is coming in the world. It's already been undergone through Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter, the biggest transit that has happened in over 760 years, 740 years. So, I mean, are people ready for that? Are people ready for a Friday the 13th, like the Knights Templar? Like, are they ready for that? Do they know what that was? and what the Templars did? You know, and then the church blamed it on a king. I mean, on another country's leader, not on themselves.
Interesting.
Am I right? You're the historian.
Yep.
They didn't blame it on themselves. They blamed it on.
No. Was that the same transit then you're saying, or?
Well, yeah, 1307, so 1284.
Hmm.
And so the Templars in that period were doing all that. But you have to remember, time was slower then. They didn't know about the outer planets. Time is sped up, including factually, time has sped up literally now. For the first time in 2020, time is sped up. Mm-hmm. We were all feeling that coming into 2020. Like, why is life feeling like it's going faster than normal? You just got your answers in the last couple months, but you were probably either A, you were just sitting there bashing Trump, or you were bashing Biden, or you were bashing whatever, and you got lost, or you were all about BLM, or you were all about this, or you're all about the cancel culture, or you got caught up in all this stuff, or when's stimulus checks coming, or when's that? You got caught up in all the fucking distractions when the real science or you got caught up in COVID stuff, but you forgot about the real data coming out that time was speeding up. You didn't pay attention to that. Didn't pay attention to that. Didn't look. Didn't want to look. Got lost into the media and got lost into what your family tells you to do. Got lost into what your friends are telling you to do. And that's the problem with Aquarius is everybody's about, well, what does this person say? What does this person say? Well, if I say that, what is that person going to think about me? Fuck all those people that are anybody in your life right now that you're worried about what they think about you, then they shouldn't be in your life. Because then that means that they don't care about you or respect you to have an opinion and speak something and be willing to listen to it. So why would you be in their life? I'll listen to anybody's view. You know what I mean? I'm not out there going to be like, I won't listen to your view. I'll listen to your view. And if I agree with it, I'll agree with it. If I don't, I won't agree with it. But I'm not going to cut you down as a person and be like, well, sorry. But anybody that tries to stop that or support stopping that stuff, how am I going to support that? That's not good for the collective consciousness. That's like the biggest thing that takes away from the collective consciousness. Nobody wants to talk about mutation, genetic mutation right now, especially when you're dealing with bad science experiments with Uranus squaring Saturn and Taurus dealing with the physical and Aquarius dealing with the scientific crazy, literally crazy. That's the dark side of Saturn, right? When it's in Aquarius is bad science experiments. I mean, that's when Bush Sr. went to war with Iraq in 91. And, they said Saddam Hussein had chemical weapons at that time. Well, they also said he had weapons of mass destruction in 2003 with the same nodal transit we're in right now. Who really had the chemical weapons the whole time, and really who plays with all the chemicals in the skies and all that shit right now?
Somebody said, I can't remember who it was, you're over 1,000 now. And they said, could they get their sexy time reading now? Which is from Deep Love Tarot, for those who don't know. But you don't even have cards in here, so. Yeah.
If you want a sexy time reading, go live your life the way that you want to. Stop holding yourself back from the connection that you want to have in your life. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to, or why keep wasting your time on people who don't want to connect? I've had to learn that lesson. Like, why am I going to waste my time with anybody that doesn't want to connect? It's a waste of time. Or why be with anybody that doesn't want to be with you? What's that's like the biggest waste of time. When time's already sped up, literally, factually. We can just show this chart that we're ending the week with the sun approaching Neptune, and we're getting ready for a dark moon that, if you look at that day, the moon's on Saturn, heading towards its balsamic phase that will not be with Jupiter, since Jupiter will be at 18. So once Jupiter goes, or the moon goes 19, which will be that Wednesday, the 10th, will be in a dark moon while the sun's on Neptune. So we're entering into some massive, massive deception, media-based stuff. And I'm preparing people for it as much as I can. And with Mars and Gemini too, it's about the, it's even from those forces, they're going to pack deception that are going to be using this Mars and Rahu for pushing whatever message that they want at that strength that they want. Also, Mars and Rahu rules war. So Mars is returning in America's chart, which is in Gemini. And so, and with Rahu close to the Mars return, and Mercury retrograde that comes in Gemini this year, which we haven't seen since 2015, square Neptune, all over Mars in America. Mars, the war stuff for America is getting intense. That's why I did Battle of the Gods, and that's why if you do watch my 2021 video Shadow Reality, it's cheap. It's $5 to rent, or you can get it for $8 forever on highvibe.tv. On the paid video section, I talk about the war stuff and what's coming. There's a lot of hope out there, but the only hope I would say is that you have to start to go live your life and start to make the best reality that you can in your own world. And that's going to shatter your own reality. That the reality that's being projected to you is not the reality that you have to live through. So I had a great time fucking off-roading this weekend, made my own reality. I was out there for 4 days. When I came back on Monday, and I had to stop at a truck stop and to fill up with diesel, and went inside, and I was like, oh yeah, this mask thing, what the fuck, forgot. So go create the greatest reality that you want, because all this Pisces is saying go make your dream come true, but don't be in like a Sag place where it's like this big idea or this big thing. Why don't you go figure it out? Why don't you go to the place? That's what Mars and Gemini rules. Cars, it rules bicycles, it rules walking. So go get in your car. Go, like, if you're going to try and do this by plane, you're an idiot. Like, sorry to say, the plane thing is just not worth the energy and time right now with South Node and Sag. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we see plane crashes now. With Mars opposing the South Node in Sag, Neptune and the Sun with a dark moon, and with Mercury entering Pisces soon, I'd make a prediction that we will see some really bad airplane crashes at the end of mid-March, end of March here. Possible military plane blow up too. So I just have to run one more chart and then I'm done here. I'll answer questions here. Unlike Joe Biden today, who was like, I guess I'm here to answer questions today, and then they just turn off and put the White House thing up. Or I don't know if y'all saw his thing yesterday. It was like, oh, so what you got? Did you get a brief? You got the border? He's like, yeah, I did. And they're like, so what do you think? He's like, it's a lot. And they just walked away.
Yep.
I'm not going to do that to you all. Actually, never mind. Bye. No, I was kidding.
Oh no. No, I had noticed a question where somebody asked about your it's a high viber, about whether you're doing consultations anymore, but about your list.
It's funny that got Spirit brought that up to me last night. Like, I have to start doing consultations again. They've taken too much time off. I have a list of 6,000 people that want a reading. So what do you do in that situation?
You have to do a lottery or something, or whatever feels right.
And, you know, what do you do? I'm blessed for it. I think 6,000 people want a reading from me because a lot of astrologers out there just talk like, so you have Mars transiting your 10th and it's trining your Venus, and so this is a good time for blah blah. Like, they don't fucking just get down to like, this is where you're evolving, this is what the fuck is going down. And I you know, I'm a psychic, so I'm a psychic astrologer. I fucking just like bam bam bam, and I can do it all in my head. We're definitely going to see, though, breakthroughs this week. If you look at the helio chart right here, this is for Tuesday. So this is from the sun's point of view. Mars sextile Uranus trine Venus. We're going to see a grand sextile right here. Sextile triangle. So Uranus at 10. This is the first time that Uranus has been to 10 degrees helio-wise in the sun, and then Mars in Cancer, which sucks, but with Venus and Pisces though. And so we're gonna see, for those people that create and go for the things they want in their life and find it might seem crazy, but it's for whatever makes them feel better in their life and more at home and more at the real dream. You can make your greatest dreams possible this week. But I think that if you're going to stay stuck in the matrixy, like, false reality thing and continue to stay in your own patterns and continue to keep waiting and continue to keep hoping, you're wasting all of your time. All of it. Literally. Like, the biggest waste of your life, as the world is literally spinning faster than it ever has been into we'll just call it a electromagnetic galactic Earth and sun-based event that is happening now and is what is affecting everything on the planet. And astrologically, you better start rallying up to make your soul feel good and to go to where you want to go in your life, instead of sitting around and being a pansy and blocking yourself and being like, I need to drink tea and put on a blanket and I need to not do anything and go to sleep, to get up to go do my routine. That's part of this bullshit matrix that's holding me back from all my dreams.
Someone asked about if you could say a little bit more about how time is speeding up. Explain that. I think you did in the last video. I mean,
if you want to look it up, just go look at Earth's rotation glitches on Google. And there's plenty of articles because it's scientifically proven that the Earth is literally spinning faster due to the core of the Earth's magnetics that are being triggered more because our magnetic shield is weakening. But the sun just reflipped in its solar cycle. And it looks like finally science has given us the real proof from dating and so forth that every 12,000 years, the Mayans were right, that the galaxy flips its poles. The sun flips its poles, and so does the Earth, and the Earth's poles are flipping. So this is where the core of the Earth, the magnetics, is creating areas on the Earth in the plates that don't have magma there because the magnetics are down, and that are creating the Earth to spin actually faster. So it's creating a glitch of about 1.5 milliseconds. So when you get 28 glitches in 1 year, you add that to 1.5 milliseconds, you're over a minute in time that the Earth is spinning faster a day. A year. So the Earth is spinning 1 minute faster than normal time. So that might not seem like a lot, but if you follow the last 50 years, the average was 1.5 milliseconds. We were actually spinning a little bit slower, and then to go from slower to faster is just insanity. And look at the insanity of the Earth and the world. So how funny too. You had a president that was super fast and in your face and all the time. And then when the earth gets faster, you get the slowest, most zombie-like president on the planet. That's, and when I was doing my predictions, I probably should have looked at that. That astrology, not mixed with the understandings now of the science that's happening and what we're seeing in a new way. Like this is astrology and science coming back together fully. So the integration is important. But those conversations aren't being had. Well, they are here, but that's where I think maybe I would leave people to think about a little bit more in their life. And to cherish this life as much as you can right now, and to stop wasting it on things that you don't want to do anymore. Like fucking stop. Like I almost kind of feel like, like a drug counselor being like, okay, you got to stop the drug, that you don't want to do anymore. And it's not even bringing you anything that you want. Like, why are you going to still sit there and continue in this same pattern? You're betraying yourself. You're betraying spirit, because spirit right now is moving all of us towards following wherever the truth lies in itself. And that's what's funny about a lie, right? A lie is a place that acts like it is a holder of where the truth, because the truth lies in a space. The term lie comes from the lie, which is a place where truth can lay down in, but it's not the space where it can lay down in. It's false. So you have to look at yourself. Like, if you really want to ask yourself if you're spiritual, it isn't about your green juice. It isn't about your Kundalini yoga. Those things are nice tools. It's whether or not you are aware of the truth, and whether or not you are activating that truth and living in a truth that is of the if you're lying to yourself, or if you're not getting the life that you want, or you're sitting there waiting for the hope of some bureaucrat to change your life, or you're continually waiting for something to change in your life. This is where you activated. All the planets are direct, and you're going to have a big realization this week with all this Aquarius energy that the whole time you've been lied to, that the fact that you already know what to go do, but you keep waiting for some sort of revelational, like, Wheel of Fortune to come into your life, when you are the Wheel of Fortune that needs to take the action and go towards it, and you know what already in your head, what you're stimulated to go do, and you have to be curious, and you have to take the action. You have to just do it. And last year, we all did that, and we all failed, because the South Node was Mars. And there was a lot of restriction. And now Mars is going to have trines to Saturn and Jupiter, while it's with the North Node. So this is it. This is where you make your big leap. You make your big leap towards your truth. You do it or you don't, because after this, with where the Earth shifts are going, with where the astrology is going for the rest of the year, which is going to be shit, with all the planets when they retrograde this late spring into summer, with horrible transits of Jupiter coming into Pisces, with the South Node and Sag, and with Neptune there and deception, and with Mercury retrograde and Gemini squaring Neptune and squaring all that shit, and the eclipses that are coming this summer, actually the spring, that are all going to be in connection to all that energy force. You better get your ass in the fucking gear now. Whatever you're going to do to change things in your life, you got to make it now. Especially in this week with where the helio's at. Because after this, you got to remember, Earth is about to oppose Neptune starting next week on Wednesday. You're going to face this matrix completely, and you're going to make the crossroad decision this week with the sun scoring the nodes, with a moon that is going to be enticing you to continue to just be like, I can push it off another day. I'm just going to have hope that things will change in my life. No, Gemini is like, I need to go see if there is food in the trash can. So the dog's not hopeful that food's going to be in the trash can. The dog takes advantage That, oh, I smell food, I'm going to go get that trash now. Or when somebody drops food, why does a dog, no matter how trained it is, go run and just pick up the food? Because it's like, there's the opportunity. I'm seizing it now. I smell it. I see it. I'm curious enough to see. I'll take the fucking beating if I have to, or the yelling, because this is better than what I'm getting. And that's all this Aquarian. Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this, or I can't believe you say this, or I can't believe it's like, you know what? It's the booze in the crowd. And I hate to say with the South Node and being in Sag and Jupiter's in Aquarius. Aquarius is a space with Saturn there, and with Jupiter that has the dispositor of the South Node. I hate to say it, fucking, it's the crowd that's just, this is cancel culture. You know, your family's cancer culturing you. Your partner's cancel culturing you. Your friends cancer culturing you. Your colleagues are cancel culturing you. Unless you find your real tribe that isn't going to cancel culture you and let you be like a Leo, right? The opposite of this, and like be your own kingdom and be your own love and be able to say and be whoever you want to be. Get the fuck away from anybody that's not like that, because you're wasting your life. You are literally wasting it away, and you're being drained by the system. And I really believe that's the cause of what we see in this pandemic, that is what it is. And all the earth stuff and all the, mainly the magnetic stuff with the sun and the galaxy. And when all this eclipse stuff goes down, they're saying that the fastest day of the year is going to be, I think, May 12th. So if you just start following the astrology a couple months from now, it's when Mercury's going to start coming into Gemini and starting to station here and get ready for its squares to Neptune and all that. And I think with the eclipses too, that's gonna rattle the Earth's magnetics, and that's gonna volcanoes. That's also gonna be Mars return that will happen with for America with war stuff. Mars and Rahu will have met. You need to seize your opportunity. You have about 21 days, let's say 3 weeks. But again, when I give out a number like that, guess what people do? They fucking go, well, I got 3 weeks. I won't do it today. You have Mars right now at 0 degrees of Gemini. You've got the Helio Mars sextiles Uranus. You got Helio Mars trine Venus. You got Helio Jupiter that's coming off a square to Uranus.
I can't go over there.
And you got Helio Mercury leaving Scorpio and coming into Sag.
Is this the Helio? This is not the chart you're talking
Yeah,
about.
no, that's the chart I'm talking about, yeah. But that's for Tuesday, March 9th. But so I have to go do deep astrology, where I'm going to go break this down even deeper. So go on highvibe.tv, make sure that you're a member. You can watch live on the app or on the website. And definitely, if you want to know what the 5-hour presentation I did about 2021 and everything, it's $5, less than $5 to rent, or it's $8 to have it on the app, which you don't even have to be a member of the app. You can just purchase it and then have it on the app or Roku or Apple TV or anywhere that you're at. Boom, or your phones on the app, and watch it anytime you want in the library and watch our free content. Or if you want to get my daily horoscopes, my weekly sun signs, my weekly intuitive, weekly tarot, and of course I do full disclosure and deep astrology, you get it full. It's all on High Vibe, and my weekend report and other stuff that I do on there. So I had a lot of fun hanging out with you all. I hope I give you lots of questions to start thinking about with Mars and Gemini. Get on that bike, get in that car, and go and do the thing that you really want to do. Or whatever in your mind is what stimulates you and what you can figure out. Don't question your mind of what it thinks, and don't question your gut with all this stuff going on in Pisces. It's intuitively with Venus. This is Venus ruling the roost right now. Saturn isn't as powerful. If you go look at the essential dignities, Venus is 1 point ahead. This is where you get the good stuff. Don't waste it. You're not going to see it the rest of the year. You're going to see Saturn ruling the roost. This is why everybody feels like, well, the COVID thing's going to go away. And oh my God, okay, you watch. The second that fucking Saturn comes down, it's going to be variant number 59,000. And really, it's going to be everybody that got the shot in their arm fucking having genetic mutation that they're going to call it fucking a variant. Because the day that the fucking first variant came out is the day the first person that they found a man named Shakespeare got it. So That if you don't believe in coincidences, or if you think everything's just a coincidence in life, go believe in your coincidences. But I believe in my life and synchronicities. And when you see the day that the first shot in the arm came, is the first day that the variant of the UK strain came, there is a connection to that shit. And everybody's afraid of variants and all that stuff. Yet there was another thing that came out today. I think it was from somebody at the CDC who's like, we need to get everybody shot up as fast as it can before the variants that we have found that are not going to be able to handle, the shot in the arm won't be able to handle it. Like, they're already promoting to you, that's what they're going to say. And then, so, are you really going to go take something that fucking, they already are telling you. I mean, it's like, they tell you what they're going to do. We got told we were going to be put on lockdowns before the lockdown happens. It was being shown. It was being discussed on television in 2020 from what China was doing as if that was okay. Like, fucking people are fucking, I hate to say it, people are fucking retarded. We live in a retarded world right now. People are retarded. They will just blindly be sheep, and they will follow what, and it's being told in your face. It's being told in your face. They mock a Harvard scientist that comes out and says that Oumuamua, the asteroid in 2017, fucking did all the analyzation on it and came out and said that thing looks like it's fucking from another solar system and it's alien. And it's not the idea of the alien that they want you to hear. They want you to see green aliens. They don't want you to see that aliens might not be in the physical and might be a whole energy force that can use an asteroid and energetically be, they don't. That's the world we live in right now. And people are lost, and people are confused because you keep waiting for that television to tell you what you can do and when it's going to happen and when the truth is and what the truth is, when all those people are the only people that are allowed to do it. And I've been in television long enough to know that all those people are vetted and all those people are told. And all those people are saying, like, you only get this much time, and this is what we're saying, and you can't go against that, or they won't air you. Well, what they do, there's plenty of videos where I can show you on CNN and everything. They just cut off the fucking person. Just be like, oh, we lost the feed with them. Lost the feed. Especially in this new Zoom world. And we have a president who's promoting Zoom world on purpose. Because guess what? Big question yesterday was, where's the logs of who's coming to the White House? Or, since you're not bringing people to the White House, we want to see the logs of who you're talking to on the phone and on Zoom with, because that is public information. That's the public's house. Oh, we'll circle back with you on that one. No open press conference yet with the president or the vice president. You got to ask questions like that. And we're talking about what's being hidden. Don't get lost in this whole Pisces thing and everything feels good and everything's going to be okay and all that shit. This is totally South Node Sag moment here with Jupiter and Mercury. And Mercury's like, oh, everything's going to be good, right, Jupiter? And Jupiter's like, it looks like everything's coming together. I think so. I believe so. I'm the one that should know. Oh, but the South Node is in Sag. Mercury's the one that knows. Mercury's the one questioning Jupiter and going, do you really fucking know what's going on? And Jupiter's like, yeah, I know what's going on. No, I don't. Jupiter doesn't know what's going on in Aquarius. Jupiter's going around going, I got my ass fucked so hard at Capricorn by Saturn and fucking Pluto. And fucking, I am fucking like, just trying to fucking get a grip. And the South Node is the dispositor and it's fucking hanging out fucking Sag. Oh no, I don't know what the hell's going on. I thought I knew, but I don't. This is too crazy. So this is where you realize that it's your mind, it's your own environment, it's your hermeticism and your questioning and you seeing of the reality and you being able to decipher through the dark and the light on your own. Not letting the media tell you what's dark and light, not letting the media tell you what's right and what's wrong. You determining that on your own accord. That is where this is at. And that's what Uranus and Taurus is trying to teach you. And that's what Saturn and Aquarius is trying to teach you, is like, where is your own integrity and responsibility of understanding where you put your authority and decisions on the world that you want to have. And Uranus and Taurus is saying that you are the only one that can break through to the greatness in your life by creating your own understanding and figuring out things in your own way of what feels good and what is of true value in your life that's going to make you feel better, instead of everybody telling you what is the most valuable thing. Because when everybody tells you what's the most valuable thing, then you have no value in yourself. So we're dealing with not only a crisis of suicides, we're dealing with the crisis of mental health issues, we're dealing with the crisis of people fucking not able to work, we're dealing with the crisis of people with money, we're dealing with crises all over the place. But the major crisis is self-worth. Because when Uranus is in Taurus, that's what happens. And that's why the World War II happened. That's why the financial system collapsed. It's because when you get and you use all these kind of things to people, guess what? Everybody has low self-worth because what? You don't have the confidence in yourself to make the world the way that you want it to be and feel the way that you want it to be. And you're too scared to actually go about it yourself. Because Saturn there, you're like, oh, well, other people, what are they going to say? Oh, well, fuck other people. That's what Uranus and Taurus is trying to say. And that's also what Saturn and Aquarius is trying to say. So it's like the illusion that Jupiter and Aquarius is like, you know, this collective community thing is going to fix it all. I'm sorry to say it's not. You're going to have to remember that it was yourself that always comes with the wavy lines of Aquarius. It's you and how you align with the collective. But when everybody's just doing on the collective, there's no two wavy lines. It's just one line. And then it's not Aquarius. It's not Aquarius. Because then the water bearer is no longer a water bearer. Because it's serving water to what? The collective. Now there's no water bearer. Because everybody's sitting around and expecting a water bearer to fucking come around. Yet nobody has the courage enough to be the water bearer themselves. Think about that one. I'm going to go use this fire right now on Deep Astrology. I love you all very much. We'll see you soon. Adios. Toodles. Maybe Toodles knew more about life in Peter Pan than you realize with his marbles. More than fucking Joe Biden does. I can tell you that. I would trust Toodles with his marbles more than Joe Biden. At least he will talk to me, and at least he has the marbles to tell me what the fuck is going on. So guess what? South Node Sag, Sag rising. I've been trying to warn people for a long fucking time. But no, you want to demonize all the Leo risings out there, and you want to demonize all the Geminis out there, fucking with the Uranus and shit. The fucking that we're actually looking at facts, and we're actually making like common sense fucking things and throwing a bunch of fucking crazy fucking things. But you know, Cuomo, 3 people now have come out, and you know nobody wants to question that about women. But you know, Kavanaugh, when he was going up, oh my God, it was all about women. But now it's not about women, right? Because now it's about, you know, that's too much. If you're a woman and you come out for women now, that's transphobic now. Now it's not even the man thing. Now they've moved to women. So you gotta fucking wake the fuck up, people, because guess what? They want you to be a genderless, mindless, mutated, only watch and probably get paid for watching those networks that they want you to watch and following that only and not questioning anything. And that's what they want you to be. That's what Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius really is. And you know what? It's sad because of the last Saturn Jupiter, at least we had JFK who was willing to question things, although they took him out. Now, as long as Joe Biden doesn't go against any of that stuff, you know what? They'll keep that zombie going. He's a Scorpio. He'll just keep going until he wants to go. Scorpios are the only ones that have the free will of determining their death. When a Scorpio wants to go, they go. When a Scorpio doesn't want to go, they're still here. Scorpios will be 130 years old. They'll be like, I'm still fucking here. There's still something I haven't got left. You know? So. Toodles! Marbles to you. There you go. Adios.
Make sure I'm hitting the right thing.
We're still alive.